We're here to share with you inspiring stories that bring to life all the little and big ways that people bring more love, joy, laughter, and humanness to everyday life. Our focus is the hunt for those little moments that refuel the human soul and reminds us what life is really all about. I invite you to sit back, enjoy the moments, enjoy the stories, the adventures, and the journeys. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of What the World Needs More of. My name is Jarek Robbins. I'm your host. We have a very special guest joining us. I'm going to officially read his bio, but you'll see after this bio, there's a lot to share today. The official bio: Ken Rusk is a best-selling author, entrepreneur, and blue-collar advocate that proves there is no degree needed to achieve comfort, peace, and freedom. Ken spent his younger years digging ditches and working in construction. He never went to college. Instead, he made goals, planned, and worked hard for 30 years. Now, Ken is a very successful entrepreneur with multiple businesses and revenue streams. Ken specializes in mentoring and has coached hundreds of young people in areas such as short, mid, long-term goal setting, life visualization, career paths, and sound financial planning. He is passionate about helping people achieve their dreams regardless of their educational background or past. In Ken's book, Blue Collar Cash, he shares his insights from over 30 years of working in blue-collar trades and as an entrepreneur, mentor, and life coach. Ken, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jarek. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
I'm thrilled to have you. My first question that we always start with, which is, what do you believe the world needs more of?
I think the world needs more of, I would start with saying the belief that you are really in control of your future. And the fact that so many of us are led to believe that, this is something, life happens to us instead of us happening to life. I really believe that we need to happen to our own lives a lot more. And that would lead to more confidence, more self-reliance, more, ability to forge our own paths. And I just think that's it. The ability to say, hey, I got this. I'm in control of my life.
I love that. I love that. My next question is, what is your wow factor? What makes you uniquely you, and what are a few of the moments that help shape it?
I think people, when I say something, I think people believe that I mean what I say. And it's only because, I'm so interested in other people around me succeeding, because I'll reap the benefits of that later. It's so much more fun to put others in a position to build the lives that they want for themselves, and to surround yourself with those kind of people, because then you automatically get buoyed. A rising tide raises all boats, as they say. And instead of, trying to be the answer man to everything and always solving and fixing and, maintaining and whatever, all the problems that or challenges that arise in business, allow people to grow and to develop and to experience those things and to win, because the more they win, the more you win. It's that simple.
I love that. And what are a few moments that help shape that perspective over the years?
Well, a long time ago, I was working really hard and I was trying to throw 70 and 80 hours at it and, trying to outwork everybody. And, I was doing it all. And I thought that was my true value. And I remember meeting a gentleman. He was working in our production department at the time, and he was broken, and he was trying to figure out what to do and where to go and how to get out of this mess. And we sat down and we just kind of, we started a coaching session, not even knowing we were starting a coaching session. I mean, I don't have any letters after my name. I don't have any formal training. I just said, okay, well, what can I do to help you succeed? What does that look like? Let's literally take some crayons and draw that out on a piece of paper and see where it takes us. And, that gentleman has, he's gone through, he's already paid off a few houses. He's gotten all of his kids fully grown and developed and out of the house and in their own lives. And he's a very, very exuberant, very positive professional guy. And he's been with me now for 37 years. So, and I just talked to him this morning, and we just are very, very grateful and thankful that all those years ago, we decided, hey, let's put you first. Let's see where this goes. Let's see how you can empower yourself to own your own future. And then again, see where that takes the company. So it was great.
I love that. I love that. What other moments help shape it? So there's moments where someone came to you, you sat down, you're like, let's just do something about it. Here's a pen and paper. Let's go to work. What does that future look like? You helped them map that out. Do you have any other moments where that really was shaped over the years?
Yeah, I think once we surrounded ourselves and developed a group of people that were all like-minded, that were all, again, self-reliant, goal-driven, goal-oriented people. Yep. We've been giving back for a very long period of time. We give back to a lot of different organizations and charities, but it's not just of our money. We give of our time, our talent, and our treasure. Okay. I believe that getting involved in communities and having your people do that with you, they're not going to do that on their own, probably. I mean, some might get scratched the surface, but to really get deep into a great situation, we kind of force that issue here. And I just remember a group of people, I was standing there watching them as they were helping, people with Make-A-Wish, or people with, junior achievement, or Boys and Girls Clubs, or things like that. I just remember watching this group of people. They were so thrilled to help others now that they had done great things for themselves. And that was just another moment where I thought, wow, this is really cool. These people they're wanting to give of themselves, not because I said so, but because they're used to doing it now and they're programmed to do it and they want to do it and it makes them feel great. Yeah. And so to kick back and watch this whole thing after I'd been doing it for so many years, just with a smaller group of people, to see it expand like that, it was really cool.
I love it. I love it. When I met my wife, she was the Make-A-Wish Wish Giver of the Year. And
wow.
I asked her what she loved about Make-A-Wish. And she goes, you know what? It's one of those things that, like you said, people who they've done well and they want to share, that's great. And she goes, the truth is, even at the hardest moments of my life, when I show up here and I sit down and I'm looking eye to eye with a 6-year-old kid who just went through their 5th brain surgery to get the tumor out of their head that's cancerous.
Yeah.
Golly, I leave that room thinking, how hard could my life be? If that kid's gone through 6 surgeries in the last 9 months, my gosh, I'm blessed. And there's something special that shows up, not in comparison of you versus them, but something special that shows up just in holding space with someone else who's literally going through the gauntlet in that moment with their health more often than not with Make-A-Wish, and seeing how strong they are, seeing how resilient they are, seeing how happy they are so often. And then you look at it in the mirror and saying, okay, I'm not going through the gauntlet. I'm going through my own stuff, nowhere close to that. But why am I sitting around and moaning and complaining about it? And that kid's sitting there smiley and happy and totally alive. And it's more or less a gut check. It's one of those things that kind of just shakes your soul and wakes you up and makes you think about how you're behaving and the attitude at which you're taking on life.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I applaud your wife for doing that. We've probably in the past 24 or 5 years, we've probably sponsored 15 or 16 kids now. And you're exactly right. We love to back and support fighters, and these kids are fighters. Yep. And they show bravery that not a lot of people would be able to show. And you can't have a bad day when you visit one of these kids and what they go through, and you leave with nothing but inspiration and love and joy in your heart for the things that you do. And again, the whole team gets to see that and they get to experience that, and they go home and they feel really great about what they're doing and who they're working with. And it's just such a great thing for, again, not just to throw a check at it, but to throw your time and the talents that you have along with it. So really cool experience.
Well, I'll tell you two things real quick. One, I tried to have a bad day one time, not on purpose. I was just having a rough day. And I was running with Team in Training, which was raising money for lymphoma and leukemia. and we were running marathons to help raise money. And one day I showed up to running practice and I just didn't feel like it. I was like, I'll do my best. I'll try at least. And I know the key is you just get moving. And then after a few laps, the endorphins kick in. I can do anything. But I was on like lap 5 or 6 for the day. And I just was like, I'm done. I'm good. And the marathon comes around, I'll be fine. But right now, today, I just don't feel like it. And then this little kid came out. And he was bald and going through cancer treatment, and he had made these little buttons with his face on it, a little smile. And it almost gets me to tears every time I talk about it. But this kid came out and he stood on the side of the little track we were running as a team, like sprints, jogs, stuff like that. And he reached up, and the words that came out of his mouth were, "Thank you for not giving up on me."
Oh my God.
I'm like, you little shit. I didn't want to try hard today. And he's like, "Thanks for not giving up on me." I was like, gosh darn it, 12 more laps, here I come. Like,
right. Yeah.
I didn't need a motivational speaker. I needed a kid who was climbing a mountain in life to just look at me and say, "Thanks for not giving up on me." And my butt ran another however many laps they told me to with no more stress. And again, it was that kick in the gut of this kid sitting there going through cancer, and I'm here moaning because I didn't feel like running another lap on a Thursday. And it wakes you up. The other one that comes to mind, throwing a check at it, you said something. One of my favorite questions as a business owner, and someone asked me this, and it's just something that landed so well, is who wins when you win? And so often I've been guilty of this. I know clients have. We get obsessed in our businesses of wanting to get to the win, whatever the win is, the accomplishment, how many clients served, how many people reached, how many, money, jobs done, money, gross revenue, net profit. Like, we get so fixated on the target because it's exciting and it's fun to outdo what you've done before. And it's neat to know what else is possible. But you said something that's so important for people listening, which is you've identified in your companies who wins when y'all win. When you win, it sounds like you have programs that take your time, your treasures, your money, and reinvests into the community, both your internal community of your team and your people, but it sounds like you also invest into the local community around you as well.
If you want to build a team of just, cohesive entrepreneurial type, there's a lot of things to do. I mean, obviously there's compensation plans, there's goals, there's accolades, there's performance levels, there's all those things that you just mentioned. But when you get to the point where you have a group of people that feel morally and ethically sound because of the culture that you have in your company, and one of those things is, let's as a group go out and make something good happen in the world. I mean, one small example, for about $40, because everyone always says, well, I don't know that I have the extra money to do that. Okay. For $40, you can go to the store, get enough ingredients to go to a Ronald McDonald House, right? You go into their beautiful kitchens that they have, and 8 of you can sit there for the next 2 hours and make garlic bread and meatballs and salad and spaghetti and all the things you need for a really awesome dinner for the parents of one of those kids who's across the street suffering in a hospital, and they're scared to death and they're worried and they're fearful and they're frustrated and they don't know what to do. They don't know about their future of their child or whatever. So they have to sleep in this place, and it's just a respite for them to come down and have this home cooked meal, and they don't know who did it. It's anonymous, but you go in and you spend 2 hours and you make this wonderful situation. And then you know what you do? You pack it up, you put it in the refrigerator, and you leave. But you leave with the fact that that you're going to make something really, really nice for someone who's in a really bad situation. Maybe not as bad as the child suffering across the street, but yeah, there are more than, when a child suffers, there's 3 victims. There's the child, there's the mom and the dad. They're all in it together. And I know that from personal experience. So it was just so cool to do that. And it doesn't take a lot of money, Jarek. I mean, it takes a little bit of time, some talent, and a little bit of treasure, but man, you walk out of there feeling like you could walk on water. It's just unbelievable. And it's so easy to do.
I love it. I love it. My next question, what's a moment that made you feel incredibly humble over the years?
Wow, that's a great one. Well, we got used to being really, really successful. And we could run this company really, really well. And we thought we knew all the answers. Okay. We really did. And you could run a business in good economies and bad economies, and good weather and bad weather, because our business is a little bit weather related. Yep. But I got to tell you, when that pandemic came along, and it was like a once in a lifetime, nobody knew what was going on. You know, streets were closing and stores were closing. And, you know, you had people getting shut down. And I had friends who had restaurants with 500 people who had 3 hours notice to lay them all off. And I mean, that was a really scary time, because that was something that I had never been through before. Yep. So yeah, to look at the 200 people that I have working here and say, okay, everybody, I don't know exactly how we're going to get through this. Okay. This is one that in my 36 years, I have not faced, and neither have any of you, and neither has the country, by the way. You had doctors disagreeing with other doctors, disagreeing with government people, and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, to take that one step at a time was pretty humbling. And it was like, okay, well, I'm eternally blessed, and I'm very grateful for the stuff that we've accomplished thus far. How do we get through this? And with a lot of faith and a lot of belief in each other around here, we found our way. We stumbled our way through it. We found a way to remain open. And it was tough, but yeah, you think you know it, you think you got it, you think you face almost any situation, something like that comes along, and you're like, oh wow, maybe I don't know everything after all.
Life will always wake us up. What about, here's my next question. What is an awe-inspiring moment on your journey?
An awe-inspiring moment, man, these are great questions. Well, I would say this. Whenever I see somebody that, again, you feel like they've presented themselves as maybe they're destitute, or they're frustrated, or they're broken, and all you do is have these conversations with them and get them to get that light bulb to go off, that there is a future for you and you control it. You've been told you don't. By society, by your economic situation, by your neighborhood, by your friends and family, you've been told maybe you're just going to be in this box for the rest of your life. And we hire a lot of young people here, Jarek, and we can change a lot of lives. And to see somebody go from, well, I guess my expectation is only going to be M, and I can show them how to get to Z, and then they start doing it, that is really cool. And to see lives develop and grow around me, that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. It is awe-inspiring, because it's not, some super amazing, driving force of some, political speech, or some, win at some sports event or whatever. It's granular, it's homegrown, it's organic, and these people are winning, and I get to watch that, and I just love it.
I love it. I love it. At this stage of your life, what's your greatest fear?
A long time ago, I had a friend of mine who started his own company, and he said, starting your own company is kind of like swimming. Okay. You're underwater for like the first 2 or 3 years, and you're just trying to gasp for breath whenever you can. And then in the next couple of years, you start to tread water a little bit, and you look around and you're like, okay, I'm breathing. I'm okay. I can survive this for a while. And then you start to do better and start to get more successful, and you built some foundation underneath you. And then pretty soon you're up on top of that water, and maybe you're like water skiing, because now you got this. Okay. You're like, all right, I'm making some money now. I got some confidence. This water doesn't bother me anymore. Everything is really cool. And then you look around and you go, okay, now how am I going to screw this up? I've got this thing going so well now. How am I going to mess it up? So I just, other than health things for myself or my family, you've done some great things. You've built a great business. You want to see that go. and you want to continue to help other people around you develop their lives. So the fear of something blowing that up, I think is basically what it is.
I see. Someone said when you start the second time, you start with all the experience you got the first time. So the second time actually goes much quicker than the first. I don't wish that on anybody, but for anyone who gets just knocked straight off the mountain of life, know that you start with the experience and the lessons and the knowledge. You have all the years of figuring out what worked and what didn't. That kind of speeds you up. But I totally get that fear. What about this? Number 6, what are you excited about for your future right now?
I'm always looking at goals that are anywhere from 1 year to 5 to 10 years out. And I have about 6 or 7 of them, and they're all different lengths of time. Things like building a new headquarters for our building, maybe becoming a grandfather, teaching my grandson or granddaughter how to play golf, hopefully that they're interested in that or whatever they're interested in for that matter.
I have one rule with golf. I go to Costco, I buy a giant box of balls. And if I make it back with one ball, I crushed it that day.
There you go. So yeah, I have a lot of things like that. I'm not really looking forward to retirement because I like to work and I like what I'm doing. But yeah, I always have a half a dozen things. I want to go back to Scotland again. I want to do some more traveling, do some things like that. I've been there a few times and I just love it. And, so I would say to be able to balance my life and to enjoy what I've accomplished and to help others enjoy what they're accomplishing, and then hit some of those other, more solid goals that I have for myself, that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
I love it. This second part of the show we call nuts and bolts. This is the tactical, tangible, more immediately applicable type stuff for our listeners. Question 1 here is, what do you currently focus the majority of your thoughts, time, and life on each day right now?
Well, when it comes to my business, it's making sure that, when you develop a program for people to not only state their goals, but to put them out in front of them and put them on the wall so everyone can see, and then they share them and they put those goals into action. I think for me, you have to focus on maintaining that, because that whole culture thing is kind of like holding on to a wet dog that doesn't want to be held onto. I mean, you really have to embrace that, and you have to maintain it, because culture is something that you don't just establish and then give up on and watch it work. Culture is something you're constantly, refueling and maintaining and massaging and doing things with. So I love the fact that I get to, come up with new ways to make culture cool around here, continue the good ones that we know work, improve upon the ones that we don't, and just watch people grow.
I love that. What is the key to your success?
The key to my success is, I've said a long, long time ago that I can't get what I want, nor can my company get what it wants or needs until everybody else gets what they want first. And I absolutely believe that. I've said it 100 times in front of 100 and 200 people. And I think they believe it because they can see it. And they can see that my interest is genuine and it's honest. And so, yeah, I think when you have any company, there's an input side and an output side, and the owners are typically on the output side. They're at the end of the line, and that's okay, because the more you can get other people around you to create a great life for themselves, the more your company is going to take leaps and bounds, and it's going to go way further than you can do it on your own. That's for sure.
That's right. That's right. Final question. What is one actionable tip to help others achieve and experience the kind of success in their life that you've achieved in yours?
I would say, go find a quiet place, get a large poster board, get some crayons or some markers or a whole bunch of different types of magazines, and either draw, cut out, create exactly the life you want for yourself. What type of house are you into? What type of transportation are you into? Car, truck, motorcycle, electric vehicle? What's your sport or your hobby going to be? What's your vacations going to look like? What's your animal going to look like? Is it a dog or a cat? And what color? What would you name it? What's your spiritual moment? What's your give back moment? Very important, right? what's your retirement plan look like? Draw all that out on a piece of paper. This might take you a day, it might take you a month, but continually work on it like you would a puzzle. Hang that on the wall, stare at it every day, because we all know that what our brain sees, it attracts itself to. That is step one to getting the life that you want for yourself.
I love it. I love it. And finally, where can people find more of you?
You can go to kenrusk.com. I'm doing some again. I'm doing some more give back work there. You'll find the book Blue Collar Cash there. You'll also find the course that I built called The Path to a Successful Life, and it's a course that if you buy one, you get to give one away free to somebody else, a friend, a neighbor, or a loved one. And I donate the proceeds of that to charity anyway. So if you want to help yourself, know you can help somebody else in the process.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening. This is another episode of What the World Needs More of. Share this with a friend, a family member, someone you know who's trying to build the life of their dreams, to give them access to tools, conversation, and information of how they can do so. Hope you all have another amazing day and look forward to seeing you in our next episode.